What if the biggest financial opportunity of this decade isn't something loud, not something trending, not something everyone is talking about, but something quietly sitting in vaults, safes, and small stacks around the world? And what if the people holding 500 ounces of silver or more are about to realize they were preparing for something much bigger than they ever imagined? Stay with me for a moment, because this is not just about silver. This is about attitude. This is about preparation. This is about the difference between people who wait for opportunity and people who quietly build their future before the world realizes what's happening. There's a pattern you see again and again throughout history. The biggest rewards rarely go to the loudest crowd. They go to the patient builders, the quiet accumulators, the people willing to think long-term while everyone else thinks about tomorrow. Years ago, there was a young investor who started with almost nothing. No connections, no inside knowledge, just discipline. Every month he bought a little bit of something most people ignored, not because it was popular, but because he believed in the principle of scarcity. While others chased fast money, he focused on ownership. While others spent their income, he converted it into assets month after month, year after year. At first, it looked insignificant, a few ounces, a small stack, something that didn't impress anyone. But over time, something powerful happened. Not just in his portfolio, but in his mindset. Because once you start accumulating real assets, something shifts inside you. You stop thinking like a consumer and you begin thinking like a builder. And builders understand something most people miss. Wealth is not created in moments of hype. Wealth is created during long periods of quiet discipline. Think about the entrepreneurs who built global companies. Think about the investors who transformed small beginnings into enormous success. They didn't start with certainty. They started with conviction. And the same principle applies to anyone building wealth today. When you hear the phrase silver shortage, most people immediately think about price, charts, headlines, speculation. But the deeper lesson is not about price. The deeper lesson is about positioning. Because positioning is everything in life. The student who studies before the exam is positioned for success. The athlete who trains before the competition is positioned for victory. And the investor who accumulates before scarcity becomes obvious is positioned for opportunity. Now imagine this. Imagine two people starting their financial journey today. The first person spends years waiting for perfect timing, waiting for confirmation, waiting for someone else to tell them what to do. The second person quietly builds a strategy. They learn, they save, they invest consistently, they don't chase noise, they build ownership. 5 years later, their lives look completely different. Not because one person was lucky, but because one person chose discipline. That's the power of small, consistent actions. 500 ounces of silver may not sound like a lot to some people, but think about what it actually represents. It represents commitment. It represents patience. It represents years of small decisions that most people never make. And those small decisions compound, just like interest compounds, just like skills compound, just like confidence compounds. Let me tell you something powerful about successful people. They don't wait until opportunity becomes obvious. By the time opportunity is obvious, the biggest rewards are usually already gone. The most successful investors in the world understand a simple idea. You prepare during calm periods so you're ready when the world changes. Think about someone planting a tree. If you plant it today, nothing dramatic happens tomorrow or next week or next month. But years later, that tree provides shade, fruit, stability. And everyone who walks by says the same thing. I wish I planted one years ago. That's how wealth works. That's how investing works, and that's how life works. The people who build something meaningful rarely do it overnight. They do it through quiet. Consistency. And if you're someone thinking about silver or any long-term asset, the real question is not what will happen tomorrow. The real question is, what habits am I building today? Are you building the habit of saving? Are you building the habit of learning? Are you building the habit of thinking independently? Because the world rewards independent thinkers. The people who succeed financially are often the same people who refuse to follow the crowd blindly. They ask bigger questions. They study patterns. They think about where the world might be going, not just where it is today. And they take action. Not reckless action, not emotional action, but strategic action. They understand risk, but they also understand that doing nothing carries its own risk. The chance of lost time, the risk of missed chances, the risk of staying exactly where you are while others move forward. One of the most powerful financial habits you can build is simple. Pay yourself first before spending, before lifestyle upgrades, before unnecessary expenses. Convert part of your work into ownership. Ownership of assets, ownership of investments, ownership of your future. Because when you own assets, you're no longer just participating in the economy. You're building within it. And here's another powerful mindset shift. Wealth is not just about money. Wealth is about freedom. Freedom to make choices, freedom to handle uncertainty, freedom to help others, freedom to live life on your own terms. Every disciplined financial decision moves you closer to that freedom. Every investment in your knowledge moves you closer. Every asset you accumulate becomes a piece of stability in an unpredictable world. And this is where the real message begins. The people who quietly accumulate, who patiently build, who think long term, often look ordinary at first. No focus, no attention. But when the world changes, when scarcity becomes real, when markets shift, suddenly those same people look very different because preparation always looks unnecessary until the moment it becomes priceless. So if you're someone who believes in building wealth step by step, if you're someone who believes in thinking long term, if you're someone who understands that financial freedom is built through discipline, then remember this: the future does not belong to the loudest voices. The future belongs to the most prepared minds. Keep learning, keep growing, keep investing in your knowledge, your mindset, and your future, because one day you'll look back at the small steps you took today and realize they were the foundation of everything you achieved. The greatest financial opportunities rarely begin with noise. They begin quietly, almost invisibly, while the majority of people are distracted by short-term trends and daily distractions. Quiet accumulation is a mindset that separates builders from spectators. It is the easy but powerful discipline of acquiring valuable assets consistently over time, even when no one else seems to care. Most people wait for excitement before they take action. They wait for dramatic price movements, viral conversations, or signals that everyone else is already rushing toward the same chance. But by the time the crowd arrives, the early advantage has already been taken by those who moved long before attention appeared. Quiet accumulators understand this deeply. They know that real opportunity often looks boring at the beginning. Think about the way long-term investors operate. They rarely chase what is popular in the moment. Instead, they focus on fundamentals, scarcities, and long-term value. While others are reacting emotionally to short-term changes, disciplined investors continue, adding to their positions slowly and methodically. Each purchase may seem small, almost insignificant on its own, but over time, these small decisions build something powerful. This process is similar to planting seeds in a field. When a seed is first planted, there is no visible result. Days pass, sometimes weeks, and it may appear that nothing is happening at all. Beneath the surface, however, the roots are forming, strengthening and preparing for growth. Eventually, the plant emerges, and when it does, it carries the strength of all the quiet development that happened before anyone could see it. The same principle applies to financial preparation. Quiet accumulation is not about chasing excitement or predicting the exact moment when something will change. It is about positioning yourself so that when conditions shift, you are already prepared. Instead of trying to time the perfect moment, disciplined investors focus on building ownership step by step. Over the years, these consistent actions transform both financial position and personal mindset. Someone who accumulates valuable assets regularly begins to think differently about money, opportunity, and the future. They stop seeing wealth as something that appears suddenly and start recognizing it as the result of patience and persistence. What once looked like small stacks, small investments, or small steps gradually becomes a powerful foundation. While others scramble to react when opportunities become obvious, the quiet accumulators simply continue doing what they have always done, building, holding, and strengthening their position while the rest of the world finally begins to notice what they prepared for long ago. And if this message inspired you, if it reminded you to think bigger, build smarter, and move forward with discipline, take a moment right now to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes in building a stronger financial future. Because the journey to wealth is not just about opportunity. It's about mindset. And the people who master that mindset are the ones who change their lives forever. There's a powerful difference between the mindset of a builder and the mindset of a consumer. This difference is not determined by income level, education, or background. It is determined by how a person thinks about money, effort, and long-term value. Consumers focus primarily on spending and immediate satisfaction. Builders focus on ownership and future strength. A consumer mindset often follows a simple cycle. Work hard, earn money, and then spend that money on things that provide short-term comfort or status. New gadgets, new clothes, lifestyle. Upgrades and temporary pleasures become the reward for effort. While there is nothing wrong with enjoying the results of hard work, the problem appears when spending becomes the only financial habit being practiced. Builders think differently. When builders earn money, their first instinct is not to spend, but to convert part of that income into something that will continue working for them. They look for assets that can hold value, grow over time, or provide stability in an uncertain future. Instead of asking, well, what can I buy today? They ask, what can I own that will strengthen my tomorrow? This shift in thinking is small but incredibly powerful. Ownership creates a completely different relationship with money. Every asset becomes a piece of progress. Every disciplined investment becomes a step toward independence. Over time, these steps create momentum that transforms financial stability into financial strength. Many successful investors and entrepreneurs began their journeys with this exact mindset. They understood that income alone does not create wealth. Income simply creates the opportunity to build wealth. What truly matters is what happens after the income is earned. Do you spend everything you earn, or do you convert some of that effort into lasting ownership? Think about the difference between buying something that loses value quickly and acquiring something that holds or grows in value over time. One decision creates a temporary experience. The other decision builds a foundation. Builders consistently choose the foundation. Another powerful aspect of the builder mindset is patience. Builders are comfortable with slow progress because they understand the power of accumulation. They are not chasing quick results or instant recognition. Instead, they are quietly assembling pieces of a larger picture that becomes more valuable with time. Over the years, this approach changes not only financial outcomes, but personal identity. Someone who repeatedly chooses ownership begins to see themselves as a creator of stability rather than just a participant in the spending cycle. Their focus shifts from consumption to construction, from short-term satisfaction to long-term capability, from temporary purchases to assets that represent discipline, vision, and strategic thinking. Positioning is one of the most important yet overlooked ideas in financial success. Many people believe that wealth comes from reacting quickly when an opportunity appears, but the truth is often the opposite. The greatest advantages usually belong to those who positioned themselves long before the opportunity became visible to everyone else. Scarcity rarely appears suddenly. It develops slowly beneath the surface while most people remain focused on daily routines and short-term concerns. By the time scarcity becomes obvious, the window for easy positioning has already passed. Prices move, competition increases, and the opportunity that once required patience now demands urgency. Smart investors understand this pattern. They study long-term supply and demand, global trends, human behavior, and economic cycles. Instead of waiting for proof that something has already become valuable, they ask deeper questions about what could become valuable in the future. Their goal is not to follow the crowd, but to quietly arrive before the crowd even knows where it is going. Imagine a group of people searching for water in a desert. Some wander randomly, hoping to discover a well when they become thirsty. Others study the land, the terrain, and the signs that indicate where water may exist beneath the surface. When the heat becomes intense and thirst spreads, the people who prepared earlier are already standing near the well. This is the power of positioning. It removes panic from decision M. When the world begins reacting emotionally to change, the prepared investor remains calm because they are already in place. Positioning also requires patience and independent thinking. It means accepting that most people will not understand your decisions at first. When you accumulate something quietly while others ignore it, the process can feel slow and sometimes even lonely. But positioning is not about seeking approval. It is about recognizing long-term potential before it becomes obvious. Many successful investors develop this mindset early in their journeys. They train themselves to look beyond the present moment and focus on the future landscape. Instead of asking what everyone is excited about today, they asked what the world might need tomorrow. Over time, this habit of thinking ahead becomes a powerful advantage. Each decision to position early builds experience, discipline, and confidence. When the moment finally arrives and scarcity becomes real, those who prepared do not rush to react. They simply observe the shift while standing on the ground they secured long before the rest of the world realized its importance. Great wealth is rarely the result of one dramatic decision. It is usually the outcome of many small decisions made consistently over long periods of time. The idea that small disciplined actions can compound into powerful results is one of the most important lessons in both investing and life. At first, these actions may seem almost insignificant, but their impact grows quietly and steadily with time. Many people underestimate the value of consistency because they focus only on immediate results. When someone saves a small portion of their income, invests a modest amount each month, or steadily accumulates assets, the early stages may not appear impressive. The numbers look small, the progress feels slow, and the rewards are not immediately visible. Because of this, many people abandon the process before it has time to work. Disciplined investors see things differently. They understand that consistency is more powerful than intensity. A single large effort followed by long periods of inaction rarely produces lasting results. But small actions, repeated month after month, create momentum that becomes stronger over time. The concept is similar to building physical strength. If someone exercises once with extreme effort and then stops for weeks, the results will be minimal. But if that same person trains regularly, even with moderate effort, their body gradually becomes stronger, muscles adapt, endurance increases, and the small improvements accumulate until the transformation becomes undeniable. Financial habits follow the same pattern. Each time a person saves, invests, or acquires an asset, they are adding another layer to their financial foundation. At first, these layers may appear thin and fragile, but over time, they stack into something far more powerful than a single large move. Another hidden benefit of disciplined action is the psychological strength it builds. When someone practices consistent investing or saving habits, they develop confidence in their ability to manage money wisely. This confidence reduces emotional decision-making and encourages long-term thinking. Successful investors often rely on this principle throughout their careers. Instead of trying to predict every short-term movement in the market, they focus on steady participation. They build positions gradually, maintain patience during uncertain periods, and allow time to work in their favor. As months turn into years, the compounding effect becomes clearer. What once looked like small, routine actions begin to reveal their true power. Each disciplined step taken in the past becomes part of a growing structure of financial strength, built quietly through persistence, patience, and the willingness to trust a process that rewards those who continue moving forward step by step. Financial freedom is often misunderstood as simply having a large amount of money. In reality, it is something deeper and more meaningful. True financial freedom is the ability to make decisions without constant pressure, the ability to navigate uncertainty with confidence, and the ability to shape your life according to your values rather than your limitations. This level of freedom is rarely achieved through income alone. It is built through ownership and preparation. Ownership changes the way a person experiences the world. When someone owns assets, they are no longer relying entirely on their next paycheck or the stability of a single source of income. Assets create support systems that exist beyond daily work.